Chapter 28, Steering Systems and Integral Steering Gears, Day 2, Video 3, Power Steering Pumps. So just talking about the pump itself, hydraulic system needs to have pressurized oil to work, and so we're going to use a hydraulic pump to do that. We drive that off the engine. So as the engine is turning, the hydraulic pump will be turning, producing the pressure that we need. One of the characteristics that we want for that power steering pump is that we spec it so that the pump has adequate pressure and volume needed to operate that entire steering system at idle. That's going to be the time when we would need the most steering effort would happen. The worst case scenario this would happen at idle. The truck is loaded. He's idling his way through the yard and having to make hard turns to the right, to the left, to weave in and out to make it out to the highway. So he may be heavily loaded, low speed, or idling along low engine speed, so low pressure and low flow coming from that pump. So we will spec it out so that it meets the requirements with that engine at idle. Let's say now we've moved on to the freeway, we're driving at 60 miles an hour, and we are at 1800, 1900 RPM in the engine, high revolutions, plenty capacity with the steering pump, but very little effort is needed to turn that wheel, because if we're at that speed, we're going to be making very small corrections to the steering. Say we're driving down the freeway, we come up to traffic, and we need to change lanes to pass. At 60 miles an hour, it may take very, very little effort from the driver to turn the wheel to change lanes, where there may be no power assist is actually added into the steering gear itself to make that turn, as opposed to the truck idling through the yard at low speed with high load. Another thing that we would need to consider is the use of a power steering cooler, depending on the application. So heat is the number one enemy of the power steering system. And if we've got a truck that is an intercity delivery, varying speeds, low speed, lots of turning, cycling right to left, and moving in and out of traffic and pulling into different parking lots and that sort of thing, high cycle rates on the power steering, we may put a power steering cooler on there to keep that oil from overheating. The different types of the pumps that we can use just depends on what the manufacturer specs out: vane type, rotor type, or a gear type. In the first diagram I had, it was a vane type of pump. We've broken this one down. This is a gear pump, and so it really doesn't matter, just as long as we meet those pressure and the flow rates. The type of the pump can change. Here we've got a flow control valve and then a pressure relief valve that allow the output of the pump to compensate for that pressure and the flow needed as the truck is cycling through the turn cycles.